Hey, good evening, everybody. And it is hot. It is so damn hot. Oh my gosh, I can't believe how hot it is. And we're going to go through this all week. This is crazy. Um, I don't know. I hope everybody took my advice Sunday and got something to drink, stayed in the air conditioning. Hey, Cindy Simpson, Patrick Kelly, good to see you. And it's just hot. Um, And it's not just here, it is everywhere. I have friends in Canada that are going through the same thing. It's just going on right now with the heat. And I guess all we can do is just try to stay cool and live in air conditioners, is what we should do, especially for this week. Um, Welcome to the Tuesday night edition of Into the Night. Sean Kelly, Tommy Miller, good to see you. Thank you, buddy. Looking forward. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you made it. This is Into the Night with me, Sean Kelly, Tuesday night on UPRN Talk Radio 105.3 New Orleans, 107.7 Mississippi. And I also want to thank our nation for sponsoring my um, for this hour. If it wasn't for Carnation, then you know what? I wouldn't be spending my time with you guys. Hey, Holly, good to see you, hon. It's hot, isn't it, Holly? It's hot. But, you know, back in 2006 when I formed PPS, um, it really it was in its infancy. Mika Waddle, how did you get involved with the paranormal community? Okay, Mika, how I got involved. Well, back in 2006, I formed a group called Pittsburgh Paranormal Society. And at the time, I was like one of the first paranormal groups here in Pittsburgh. And from 2006 up to a couple years ago, I've been part of the community for that long. I got to meet a lot of groups, I got to meet a lot of people, and I just kept doing it. And I just kept investigating, and I would go 2, 3 a week at the beginning of it, and I just really enjoyed it. And as you know, Mika, once you start getting involved with it, it was nonstop because at that time, like I said, paranormal investigating was just coming in a year with taps on TV. So then I went to a lot of conferences. Sorry, guys. Went to a lot of conferences. I went to a lot of conventions and stuff like that. And that's where I got to meet people. And plus, like with my group back in 2006, we were actually like one of the first ones out. So I did a lot of speaking. I did, had a lot of articles in the paper. And that's how I got involved. I just threw myself into the paranormal community and helped out everybody as much as I can. Um, but as you could tell, there's a big in the paranormal field now. And I have my friend Eric Bollinger coming on in about 2 seconds here. And we had, I asked him the other night if he'd like to be a guest on my show, and he said sure. And I thank him for that. But I was really stuck with the topic. And he came up with a good one. So I'm going to bring him on, and I'm going to have him remind me what we're going to talk about because it is so damn hot. Mika says, I don't know if you remember me coming on your page before, but I was the one that shared I had a paranormal experience. I've seen myself in physical form and have spoke twice. I'd like to be a guest and share my story one day, if possible. Of course, Mika, we can do that, brother. We can definitely do that. I don't know. Did you friend Pittsburgh Paranormal Society, sir? If you did, just leave me a message. The Pittsburgh Paranormal Society Facebook page. Just leave me a message, and then I'll get back to you. And I'd love to have you on as a guest. Yes. But without further ado, I am going to bring my friend Eric on, and Eric Bollinger, and he also is a paranormal investigator. And we're going to talk about what he asked me, and I forgot. So it's due to the heat, guys. It's due to the heat. Without further ado, my friend Eric. Hey, Eric, what's up, man? Say hello.
Hello, everyone hear me?
Yeah, can you hear? Yeah, yeah, we can hear you. So what's going on, buddy? I mean, I think it was about 7, 8 months ago you were last on.
It's been a minute, yeah.
Yeah. So how's your paranormal investigating going?
Not too much this year so far. Got to do one with you down at Duda's Farm, Ohio State Reformatory, and I've been up to Hillview a few times.
Hmm.
I got one set up for Old Licking County Jail here in a couple months, and provided it to go this year, I'll also be at the Homestead Library.
Oh yeah, I like that one, the Homestead Library. That's the one with Drake, with the
Hmm.
Oakland Paranormal Society. Before we go on, I have to, I promise. My A friend of mine, Roy White, and he's been on this show twice. He will be on our show next week, and we're going to really start talking about the Blood Fest at the Dudas Farm. Um, it's July 13th and the 27th. So I'm going to have Roy on next week, and he's going to get more into it, what he has come, what he has built, and what's going on. And we're going to go from there. But please be here next Tuesday. My boy Roy White will be here. But what we were talking about the other day, coming up with a topic, and what was that topic here, Eric?
Basically, how paranormal investigating has become commercialized.
Okay, would you care to share on that?
As far as how I even got into it initially, and yes, I'm giving a shout out to a local Pittsburgher. The movie called White Noise with Michael Keaton. I'd
Hmm.
never heard of an EVP, so I watched that movie and thought it was interesting. Then you see the paranormal shows start coming out middle of the 2000, uh, get bigger and bigger, and then there's more and more of them. Uh, Advent of the internet being to where people are able to get information much easier. You start seeing places that are reportedly haunted opening up. And that's all good. I wouldn't we wouldn't be able to necessarily do what we do at certain places if people hadn't made businesses out of them. People hadn't said,
Right.
"Hey, I got this building. It's supposedly haunted. Uh, I have bills to cover too, but if you want to come in, it's X amount of dollars." And that's how certain businesses thrive. The equipment was very basic. I feel like the field is still in its infancy, but it also at times feels like it's been hijacked. Um, just regular equipment. Some has come down in price, others are impossible. The Panasonic digital recorder, if you find one for $500 that works perfectly, you got a bargain.
Right. But see, to me, you know, back then when I started in 2006, when I started the group, I mean, the old VCR camcorders is what we used. Okay, and digital voice recorders for EVPs. And I remember getting, going out and get a digital camera. And at the time, if you had a 4 megapixel camera, man, you were the shit.
Mm-hmm.
You had it made. And then they went to a 12 megapixel, and you were just like the cream of the crop of the paranormal field with equipment. You know what I mean? But now, as this field is evolving, I can. Hey, Tony Sabella, it's good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. As this field is expanding now, I believe that there are companies out there that are taking people's monies for really ridiculous stuff. Um, can't equipment.
Hmm.
You know, and to me, I just I can understand they need a business, okay, and they need to make money. But if you look at a lot of the equipment out there, it's basically all the same theory. You know what I mean? Just like a K2 meter. You know what I mean? Um, my thought being, do you actually need a doll to go out there to get a response from something?
No.
Do you need to get, what those lights that they lay across or hang? What are they called? Where when a spirit crosses it, they go on and off.
Yeah,
Or,
they're just proximity sensors attached to a light.
but do you believe that that equipment works honestly, or do you think that something caused that light to go off?
I think it depends on the piece of equipment.
Okay, care to
I
care
think
to share on that? Care to share?
you're talking about the light, the rope light, essentially. I've
Yeah.
been at investigations that have used that, and I've seen it go off when there's nothing around it. There's no electrical source. There's nothing that walked around it. So it's taken the technology of a K2 and expanded it to have a longer range, and I think something like that is good. But when it
Hmm.
comes to um, other pieces of equipment like a digital thermometer, people was said to find cold spots. Well, the problem with a digital thermometer is it takes surface air temperature, not ambient air temperature. You could have a
Okay, now,
cold spot right in front of you, but it's going what's behind it.
right. I know some of the those meters that you're talking about. I kind of like. Um, I'm like on the fence with it. Like honestly, everybody, I'm on the fence with all the equipment that they have out there right now. I really am. Um, but with the thermometer, okay, I mean, we were at an investigation, and it was a day like this, and I'm telling you, I was sitting on the couch, and someone had a thermal, um, the temperature thingy, and they shot it right at my hand, dude, right, and it went from like 85 down to 38, just like
But
that.
something was touching your hand and it was reading the surface temperature
Of what?
of your hand.
So my hand was 38 degrees.
There was something that was touching your hand, making it 38 degrees.
Yeah. So I believe because at the time when that happened, um, I did sense spirits around me.
But if you're in a room and you say there's a cold spot, you know, 5 feet in front of me, well, you point the gun, it's a laser, it's going to keep going until it has something to reflect off of that could be 20 feet in front. So it's not
Okay.
going to pick it up.
So what do you put your faith into the digital thermometers?
I do not.
You do not.
I Devices that take ambient air temperature readings, that's where I would put my that's where I would invest if I were going to purchase something like that.
Okay, so could you please tell the people out there what kind of equipment does pick up an ambient temperature?
It's thermometers that just pull the temperature that's in the air. There's some EMF detectors, I've used a few of them, that actually will tell you a digital temperature readout.
Hmm.
There's other equipment too, meters, thermal cameras are another one that they'll give you ambient air temperature.
Okay. Um, what's your opinion on thermal cameras?
It depends on with any equipment, with anything, not even paranormal. A lot of it's going to depend on the user.
Hmm.
You have to learn what you're doing with it before you can determine whether or not what you're seeing is what you think it is.
Right. And automatically in your mind, you're thinking, okay, there's this blue spot right here. Um, they're pointing it at you, and you're all hot and yellow and red, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they see this blue blob there,
Mm-hmm.
and so automatically, with you being a paranormal investigator, right, you're going to automatically think that is a spirit.
But I'm a debunker, so for
I know
me,
you're the best. You're one of the best. That's why I'm here. That's why I got
whenever
you.
I if it's me and then beside me is dark, say it's red hot on me, dark beside me, I want to look at the minimum and maximum temperature that that camera is reading. If it has
Okay.
nothing set as a limit, or if it has something set as a limit that's too close, it's going to say anything that's not me is going to be dark.
Okay.
So if it's like, you know, to get to that color, it has to be 50 degrees or less, and we're in a 90-degree room, and everything around is 90 degrees, including the people, and something pops up at 50 degrees, that's worth looking into.
Okay. And I kind of like believe them. Okay. I've worked with people who have had thermal imaging cameras, and we've gotten some good stuff. And what I mean by good stuff, we've gotten good video from it. Basically, the shape of a human, you know.
Video is
Um,
a different animal. If you see something humanoid on video that's moving, hi Rhonda.
hey, Rhonda, good to see you, hon. Welcome. If you want to share, if anybody out there in the chat room wants to share about any of the equipment, um, feel free to. Because tonight, me and Eric are talking about how commercialized the paranormal field has gotten. So, and it does. Like you sent me a message, or we talked the other day, and you said they have pink K2 meters.
Yep.
There she goes. I love you, Rhonda. She still prefers old school equipment. I agree with you 100%. Personally, me, I use a K2 meter and an EVP, in the electronic digital voice recorder. To me, those are the two best pieces of equipment to have. Rhonda says definitely more commercial hype than the real deal. It's so true. So true.
Mhm.
What do you think of that, Eric? And she's got a point. I think with all those damn shows on TV, it just starts to, you know, hype other people up. You know what I mean? Like the Ghost Brothers. We'll just say the Ghost Brothers on TV. Right? Now people watch that religiously. Okay. Now everyone wants to be a ghost brother, and to me, it's not like how it used to be, like Ron was talking about. Back then, even with taps, the only thing I didn't like about taps is they didn't believe in orbs. Okay. Um, but but at one time when they had the TAPS family members, the groups that became their family members of TAPS. You remember that?
Hmm.
Okay, and I'm like, and I would get all these calls from other paranormal groups saying, "Why don't you be a TAPS family member?" I didn't want to be a TAPS family member. I wanted to be it all on my own, and a lot of people got angry with that because I wasn't that family member. What are your feelings on that when a group like TAPS or any other group want TV ghost show would want to start a tap like TAPS family member, like Ghost Brothers paranormal group member? What do you think of that?
That's a double-edged sword, and that's part of the commercialism of it because you want the community to be inviting, you want it to be collaborative, you want it to be inclusive, to use a current buzzword.
Mm-hmm.
But also, how much is that is just a cash grab? Like,
Hey, go
so
ahead.
send your 1995 and get an official paranormal investigator sticker and bumper sticker and keychain and a little card that you can carry around that says you're a member of XYZ.
Right. That to me that's not good. It's and that's where I draw the line. I'm right there with you on that one. Never, ever, ever did you have to pay anyone to be part of a group. Never did. You
Yeah.
know, never, 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 never. Michelle Wilfong says, "Hi, everyone. Hello, Michelle. Thank you for coming in." But no, it just it's just irritating that people would go out of their ways in order to make a buck. And I'm going to tell you, um, I remember Eastern Penitentiary was the biggest like ghost place to go to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just to investigate that all night, it was $2,500. Um, so you, for five people, you couldn't come up with $2,500. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You get like 50 people, and to cut back on the expense of doing it. But as well as I do, it's real hard to do an investigation with 50 people.
I'm reading the chat.
Oh, what
Well,
Ron? When I was, I guess,
and
yeah,
saying Michelle having
Ron.
activity in her apartment.
Oh, okay. Rhonda says, okay. Rhonda says, when I was on My Ghost Story, the evidence was reconstructed and they edited things to make their own narrative. Oh, Rhonda, I could tell you about that. Seriously? Oh, I can tell you about that. And like I tell everybody, you want to be rich and famous as a paranormal investigating and getting your own show and stuff like that. Write a book. Find a house, write a book, make sure it's very scary or whatever, and um, you'll get your own TV show. And there are a couples out there that did that, and now they're rich and they got famous movies out of it, like The Haunt in Connecticut. That's just a normal. That was just like a normal investigation to me. The House with the Annabelle, same way. Okay, we're both reading these.
Yeah, I'm a
So do
bit
you?
far away, Michelle. Otherwise, I would offer to come investigate it as well because I like new places. And Rhonda, they did they raise their prices?
Minesville? Are you
Yeah,
serious? How long ago was that, Rhonda? Oh, she lives in Oregon. Oh, Michelle. Wow, that's Hey, Michelle, have you ever tried to find a paranormal group out there in uh, in Oregon? Find one, and they can help you out.
Well, she's done her own investigating.
Well, it would be nice to get some other people in.
That's
The
true.
better. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Holy,
two sets of eyes are better than one. That's
that
and
is
I did
ridiculous.
so I did one just last year with my group, and it ended up coming out to like $60 a person.
That's too much money, Rhonda. The hell, 20? Wow. Maybe because we had 20 people. I don't think so.
We had
I don't know,
23.
Rhonda. But see, this is what really pisses me off about the most about all this place. You got Eastern Penn, you got Minesville, you got Ohio State Reformatory, whatever. You got all those other places that the ghost TV shows been to, and then and then places are making a buck. You know, the only place that is actually doing something with the money that they find that they get from these overnight investigations is Prospect Place down in Trimway, Ohio, and and they just took this old 1904 um, like I forget what it is. It's a mansion, and they actually rebuilt it back to um, its original thing, and it's a very good place to go investigate. What do you think? You ever been down there?
That's one I've not been to. It's I have a list. I have a list of places to go. It's just getting the people in my group together, finding the time, the money, and all this. That's why we try to do one amongst like our group tries to do one just for us every year, and hope
Mm-hmm.
not everyone can always make it, schedules and whatnot.
That seemed to be the hardest thing in the world to do is to work around other people's schedules. Hi,
Hmm.
Amanda. Good to see you. Welcome. It's good to see you in the room. And Rhonda says, I find places that has not been walked on and they're very interesting. I'll tell you, has a very, very haunted building is Rhonda's place down in Charleroi. We've done investigations down there, and it's definitely, definitely haunted. There's a lot of activity that goes on down
I read somewhere that the abandoned steel mills in Charleroi are so haunted that even the TV shows won't go to them.
there. I didn't hear that. Michelle, Rhonda, is that true? Are they abandoned, or are they torn down, or are they still there? Or what?
Uh, There was a Facebook post I read a couple months ago. They're still there. I think it was Charleroi, but Michelle, that's completely wrong of them to have done. The
Rhonda
mill.
says, yes, the store is real. There are quite a few hot spots in Charleroi. The mills are running.
Okay. Yeah. It People shouldn't charge you to come investigate your house. I know
Oh,
residential, like whenever I've done a residential, the most I've said is just if you have water,
yeah.
I, I,
My,
and not
my,
even when it's hot like this, just we need to stay hydrated. So that's all I ask of you. Keep us hydrated.
I would definitely ask for iced tea, cookies, and water. That's what I would ask.
Okay, it's not a Pittsburgh wedding. We're not having the cookie tables.
maybe we should have a big, maybe we should have a big conference and bring out cookie table. That'd be pretty cool. But no. So, but her place, Rhonda's place down in Celery, it's an antique store. And what we did investigations down there every Halloween or the week before Halloween, and it was like pretty cool. It was pretty cool. So, what is your favorite place, or what is on your bucket list to go investigate?
Well, my favorite place to go to is Hillview. I've been there the most. I have an actual family connection as my grandmother was a resident there when it was open. So that's my favorite place to go to. Second favorite place is Gettysburg for a lot of obvious reasons. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Bucket list, even if I don't know if it's haunted or terribly haunted or any of that. I would love to do an overnight at Alcatraz.
Oh, that would be sweet. I would think it'd be haunted. I would
I've
think it
not
would.
I've not looked into it because I don't want to know. Because if it is, then that's just going to make me want it more.
Right. That'd be a lot of money too.
Yeah,
And
none of my
and
lottery tickets win. So,
and I watched a couple shows on the USS North Carolina, that battleship,
mm,
and saying that it's like a really, really haunted place. That's what really irks me about the shows now. It's like they make it odd to where it's evil, or there's a lot of bad spirits down there, and it to me it takes away from the actual ghost hunting. You know what I mean? It
mm,
it I'd rather go to a place where that hasn't been on TV. You know, I would rather go out to a cemetery and investigate. Anywhere, Gettysburg. Me and you've done a couple investigations up in Gettysburg,
mm-hmm.
and it was definitely it's very haunted up there. But I don't know. I just don't. That's my opinion. If anybody out there in the chat room who wants to chime in on how the TV shows actually destroyed the paranormal investigating, you're more than welcome to chime in, and we'll read your quote on online here. You know, but I, I don't know. I was venting there a little bit. Your turn to vent. Your turn to vent.
One of the things I've noticed with a lot of the places that I have gone that, and I don't mind paying. I've never minded paying if I feel the price is reasonable. If it's somewhere I've never been, or if it's somewhere I've been and had a lot of good activity, but it means something more when I go back and there's been improvements to the place.
Right. Hey,
And
Michael. Go
some
ahead.
do that better than others. Um, there's a few places I won't go back to because of that. There's a few places I won't go back to just because I don't think they're haunted, or if they are haunted, they're not as haunted as they're made out to be,
Hmm.
which is a sad thing that, this place, just because some place looks creepy and gives you a weird vibe, doesn't necessarily mean it's haunted.
Right.
My
And
parents,
go ahead.
my parents' house is haunted, but it looks unassuming.
Okay. I'm dying here. As you can tell, do you see the sweat
I
building up
do.
in my t-shirt here? Yes. I wonder if everybody else sees it. They're probably looking at it like, Sean, you're a nutcase. Why aren't you getting yourself into the AC? Michael Anthony says, well, when we're all dead, we'll find out. And you know what, Mike? That is so true. You know, sometimes I look forward to dying, not because I'm a crazy fool, but all the stuff that I wanted, all the answers or to my questions I have, I'll figure it out. Here's a good question. Michelle Wolfong says,
I see.
Seti Lorraine is Seti Ranch. It's an Oregon bucket list. Okay, we're gonna have to look that up. You know, Google that because we're all the way over on the East Coast, Michelle. We're in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Western Pennsylvania. But Yeah, but no, Michael, you're right. We really seriously will get the answers when we die. What do you think of that, Eric?
Mm, we better. I'll be pissed.
Michael Anthony says exactly. It either be nothing or everything. Yeah, because I have questions too. It's like, are there certain rules out there that we have to abide by if we're ghosts?
It says that his CD ranch is in Washington.
Washington. Okay,
I'm pulling it up now.
but yeah, that would be crazy. Michelle says not mentioning any names, but if ZB on GA, he kind of puts on the show some of the time. Yes,
Yeah,
he
well,
does. Yes, he
you'd,
does. Yes,
you'd
he
do that
does.
too if you had those insecurities.
Oh, he has too many insecurities, brother. But you gotta give him credit for going on TV for doing it. Do I like the way he investigates? No. Do I like the way he goes by trying to find out stuff like why it's haunted, what to use, and it's just ridiculous. That's not paranormal investigating. That's just making money. That's just getting viewers for that.
That's show business.
Michelle says, but I do like some of the shows. Haunted was one of my favorite shows. It's one of the older ones. I never saw that one.
It's not ringing a bell to me either.
No, I haven't seen that one. Well, I really tried to stay away from watching the ghost shows. Okay, the only one I really watched, not religiously, but every now and then, was Taps at the beginning. But but as time went on and I saw more and more come out, I was like, no, I don't need this. I want to do it my own way. I want to figure out investigating my own way. She said, I had a couple of experiences as a child when I moved to this place, felt like it was right where I was supposed to be. I've actually had a reoccurring dream that I've been here before as a child.
Hmm.
Do you have a comment for her, Eric?
Um, my recurring dreams are far less interesting, but I my first experience was as a child at my parents' house. Shadow man in the upstairs. I'm standing at the bottom of the steps looking up, and full figure shadow man walks, looks at me, goes into my room, comes out of my room, goes back down toward my parents' room. I remember being put with a therapist and explaining that, and them saying that it was just an overactive imagination. So when you find a place that feels like home, which my current house feels like home, I can understand that. It's one of
Well,
those deja vu type feelings, is the best way to describe it. Anytime I get deja vu, it makes me think I'm on the right path.
you believe that, huh?
It's what I tell myself.
Okay. I can understand that. Wow. Um, what's she saying? She's in Oregon. I know it's not far. Okay, she's talking about that ranch that you were talking about.
Yeah, it's pretty close to the Oregon border.
Yeah. But so we got about 10 minutes left here, buddy. 10 or 11 minutes left. Um, what else is going on in your life in the paranormal field, or anything else that you'd like to share with us?
I mean, I'm gonna plug a couple things just because I can. You gave me the platform.
Uh huh.
Um, but Bloodfest next month, July 13th and 27th at Duda's Farm. I think that's going to be a good time. I can only make one of them. I have a different event on the 27th, but I'm going to do my best to be there on the 13th. And then the place down in Vegas is awesome. Never been to Vegas. Not a gambler or a drinker, so I don't know what Vegas really has to offer me other than food.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing against food, but
No. What's
to
the other
London.
place? What's the other place you were gonna?
This is for Western Pennsylvania, West Virginia Panhandle, Southeastern Ohio, or whomever. There's going to be a 3-day festival in a place called Hookstown. It's called the Beaver County Heathen Festival. It's going
Huh.
to be like Renaissance, Viking, Celtic themed. Going to have a petting zoo. Get your picture with a wolf. A lot of artisans, crafts, vendors. Looks like it's going to be a good time. I think they're going to have live music, and there's going to be like fire dancing on the Saturday night. So it's the last Friday, Saturday, Sunday of July. I'll be there in some sort of outfit at one of the vendor booths.
You gonna dress up as a Viking?
Uh, I don't quite know exactly if it'd be considered Viking or just Renaissance, but I
Uh-huh.
got two different outfits.
Three. That's crazy. I've never been to the Renaissance Fair. Would love to go and check it out. Um, I don't know. What do real quick? Um, what's your thoughts on the cryptids, the Bigfoots, the fairies, the elves, the gnomes?
There's enough stories that I give them some credence, but as being a debunker, I need really hard evidence for me to fully believe it. Um, I remember the movie Harry and the Hendersons, and that's when I kind of, as a child, got into Bigfoot. Mothman Prophecies introduced me to Mothman. Um, I know the hockey team in New Jersey is named after the Jersey Devil, the Chupacabra, Loch Ness Monster. There's so many things that our vision spectrum and our hearing spectrum are limited.
Hmm.
I think that's part of what the equipment for paranormal investigating helps expand. So I can't discount anything 100%, but I also don't believe anything 100% without
Right.
hard evidence. Like, I believe my dog right now is dreaming because he's kicking in his sleep.
What about aliens and UFOs?
I've seen them myself.
Okay.
Not aliens, but UFOs.
Okay.
So I do believe in that. One of the things people say is, well, why don't they visit more? Why haven't they visited more? One, they might have, and we just don't know it. And two, space is vast. It takes however many, was it, weeks to get to the moon, just with the technology we have.
Right.
I think if the sun burnt out, it would take, what, 9 minutes for us to even know?
Uh-huh.
So they started showing up en masse right around the time we hit the nuclear age.
And I saw one about 2 weeks ago, dude. I was driving to work. It was 5 o'clock in the morning. I was going down Scott Road, and dude, I tell you what, I saw this big circular spear in the sky with lights. And what was cool about that, it was leaning to its side, okay, and moving. So I only went down a block, okay. I looked at the same spot. That UFO was gone. It was a sight. So I saw the UFO, so I can actually say that I believe in the UFOs. But when it comes down to the aliens, though, someone's got to be running those spaceships, right?
I hope. I mean, that with that kind of power and technology, I don't want them to be drones. I don't want
No,
to be out cutting. I don't want to be out cutting my grass and then suddenly a spaceship lands on my head because nobody's driving the damn thing.
that's funny. Me neither. I wouldn't want that. Um, See, Michelle says ZB has museum in Vegas.
We're looking for reasons for me to go.
Yeah, go, man. You go, you spend your money, and then tell me all about it, and I'll think about going.
I'm good. I'm watching my money. I got things coming up. I got mortgages, and I like having electricity.
All I know is that my friend that we've been in this paranormal field for a very long time, and we have had some good investigations, and we had some really bad investigations. Um, but the way they investigate right now, I have a hard time accepting it. The only good thing that I like about the investigating teams now is that there's a lot of younger people that
Hmm.
are getting involved with this. And when you get the younger people involved, it actually lets the it continues, you know, to where we probably could be investigating like forever, which would be good for me, you know.
Remember,
I told, go ahead.
remember the young lady we both met for the first time at Homestead last year,
Yeah,
Leah. She had her baby last week.
did she really? Oh, that's
She
cool.
did, little boy.
That's cool. Michelle says, I agree. I think there's so much more we need to explore. Of course. Talking about being a ghost, he just faded out. Look at that shit. Oh my God. What are you doing to me, Eric? You're freaking me out. But we're getting close to the end of this, to the show tonight. And I hope everybody enjoyed. And if you hear a dog barking, it's my neighbor's dog barking at us to give him a treat, you know. So,
That's
and
what every dog does.
oh, yeah. That dog, her name is, oh, what's her name? I forget. It's too damn hot to think. Um, it really is too hot. But she has us wrapped around her little paw. I tell you, seriously. And I kind of like it, you know. Ladies and gentlemen, Eric, how could people get a hold of you if they wanted an investigation from you?
Just go to Facebook and look up Phantom Hounds Paranormal. It's the group I'm in. Um, we got a little bit of got a few counties that we have members in. So we're always available to answer any questions, and we don't mind residential investigations.
Real quick before you go, when you do a residential, do you have certain steps that you go by before you go into the house?
Usually the front steps.
The what?
The front steps.
No, what I mean, what do you go through? Don't even go there, dude. Go to the back steps. You know, change it all around. I walked right into that one, ladies and gentlemen, so you all know. But do you talk to the people before? Do you go do a little investigation before the actual investigation goes? What's your
Like to know what they're experiencing, where they're experiencing it, when it started. Are there periods where it's more powerful, or those sorts of things? Have they bought any new furniture, anything old? Has any life event happened? And then, if depending on how many of us are involved, try to have one person that knows things about it going in and one person that doesn't, so that we can compare.
okay? That's cool. And then you go in, investigate, and look at all the video and all the pictures, and then you give them your answer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which is pretty cool. Which is pretty good. But listen, brother, I'm going to have to let you go. Thank you for coming on tonight. Um, and hopefully we'll get to see you on July 13th at that Blood Fest down at the Dudas Farm.
I'm hoping to be there.
I'm hoping that you will. I'm doing there. And thanks for being on, brother.
Well, thanks for having me.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.
All right, everybody. It was a good show tonight. I hope that you learned something, or that you learned something from us. I'm being honest with you, everybody. It is like damn hot out and really hot. And it was kind of hard doing this one. I have to get air conditioner in my office up here in the thing, in the attic. But this Tuesday coming up, next Tuesday, I'm going to have Roy White on from the Haunted Corn Maze from Dudas Farms, and we are going to talk about Bloodfest that is happening on the farm on July 13th and the 27th. And that's where we did the investigation and our last investigation. And we're going to ask him if there was any, after we left, did any more type of ghostly hauntings happened on the farm. Children, if you can, please go to your parents, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. And parents, please go give your children a hug and tell them that you love them. And if you have no parents, find somebody to give them a hug and tell them that you love them. Because those three words, I love you, go a long way. I want to thank UPRN Talk Radio, 105.3 New Orleans, 107.7 Mississippi, for letting me share an hour with you. Also, again, want to say thank you to Carnation for sponsoring the show tonight. And everybody, please, if you can, honestly, stay inside in the air conditioner this week, because it's going to be hot. It really, really is. And on that note, my friends, y'all have a good night, and I will definitely see you this Sunday coming up. Good night.